good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good whatever time you are watching this. Welcome back to another React video of a certain individual by a name of Philip J. Burnell. Now, let me ask you a question before we start this video. Have you ever seen anybody that makes a really bad take on something or has a really bad opinion and you just immediately question their intelligence or just assume that they're trying to be intellectually sound? That's in the case of Phil here. Phil recently went on a fucking I would say a tirade, but he went on a little segment about how if you are liking anime or if you like girls in video games, if you essentially have waifus or husbandos, you're basically a cheater. And honestly, this is the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard in my entire life. It's still one of the dumbest fucking things that he's ever done. But I'm just gonna go ahead and just watch this video about how he thinks you shouldn't watch anime or like girls in games if you're married, but also in a relationship as well. So let's start. And I'm sorry, I have to play this again.
Snort, snort, snort,
Hogan, drip,
snort, snort.
I got the drip.
I'm sorry, but Snort Hogan actually has a really good banger with that song. I'm sorry. It's a way for me to introduce who made this video. So, yeah, thank you, Snort Hogan.
Okay, so here's the thing, because again, some people take things incorrectly from how I said it. So yesterday, I don't want to really spoil my react to the Pro Jared documentary, because if I'm going to talk a little bit about it, because this person's addressing it in a tip, so this is going to spoil a little bit for those who didn't see it. But basically, there's a segment where I guess I'll say minor spoiler alert. If you don't want to know this, plug your ears.
Essentially, the context to this is that he watched a documentary someone made about Pro Jared, and also spoiler alerts. No need to do the earmuffs because this is actually quite true. It was boring, and he tried to relate himself as like DSP being higher than thou, saying things about how he would never cheat on his wife, but he'll think about cheating on his wife, even though the history about his wife is very, very damning. AKA, she cheated on her boyfriend with Phil, so not very good.
But one of the big issues that happens in Pro Jared's documentary in his life is that his wife accuses him of infidelity. But then he reveals that's not true because we were polyamorous, meaning, we were basically married, but we were allowed to sleep around. Okay? To which I said, that is bullshit. I said, in my opinion, this is my opinion. Other people can disagree, but my opinion is this.
Before he goes into his opinion, the whole thing with Pro Jared is that him and his wife at the time decided to fool around with one another because she caught him cheating. They gave the open relationship a try. Was it really polyamory? Yes and no. Polyamorous relationships mostly involve communication, meaning that you have that one person, you sleep with that one person until you call it quits with that said person. What they had was more of an open relationship, meaning that they could fool around with whoever they wanted with no strings attached. But I think they went on to say that it was a polyamorous relationship. A lot of goalposts got switched around during that whole controversy with Pro Jared and his ex-wife Heidi. But another spoiler: they're both equally bad and in the wrong for it. But let's go on, Phil. What is your opinion? What is your concrete opinion?
If you get married to someone, that is a concrete, distinct commitment. You're actively, as a mature adult, with full knowledge of what you're getting into, you're signing a legal document that says, I want to be with this person and this person exclusively for the rest of my life. Now, there's ways to get out of it later on, but that's not supposed to be what you're thinking. You're thinking, this is it. This is a lifetime commitment. If you're in that lifetime commitment with someone, you're supposed to be in a situation where that's all you want. You understand that?
Okay, before he looks at me with his serial killer eyes, I can partially agree with this. But here's another thing. Here's why I say I partially agree. I partially agree with it because he is kind of right when it comes to it. Like, if you sign a document, it's not really much of a contract. It's a license, a marriage license that says that this person is going to be yours from sickness and in health, from death do you part. They are yours and you are theirs. It's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's like a way of saying they're property, but it's a commitment, it's a goal, it's a relationship like status that once you sign this license that you're immediately married to that person. But here's where I can disagree with him on this. Even though that person might sign that agreement with you or that license with you, it will not stop them from cheating on their significant other or starting open relationships or anything like that. Even then, you don't need a fucking contract to say that I'm with this person. I'm with someone for almost a year now, and guess what? I don't want anyone else but her. But I'm not going to say, oh, I have to sign a contract to say that this person is already mine because we already know. I mean, granted, am I going to get married in the future? It depends. But then it also depends on being financially stable. But I'll just keep going with this.
That's all you want. It shouldn't be, oh, so I have my marriage, but by the way, I also like to lust over other women or other men. Oh, I also want to have other things on the side. Oh, by the way, I can have waifus and I can watch anime that's perverted. Oh, by the way, I can do this. And like, wait. Then why did you get married?
Because people that watch anime have hobbies or play video games with girls in it as a hobby. That's why, and why they get married. It's because they want to spend the rest of their life with that one person. To go home to a light that's always shining, saying that they're going to be home with someone in it. It's like, for God's sake, do you even know what love is, Phil? Do you even know what a hobby is? Jesus Christ.
The whole point of the marriage is to say, I'm past that point. I'm no longer a player of the field. I want to be only with this one person forever. That is my romance now. That is it. That's what the step means. It's that you're committing to that situation for the rest of your life. If you're not ready for that, or if you're not sure that's what you want to do, then just don't get married. But what we're finding in modern society is that so many people are just told, you have to get married, you have to get married, you have to get married, you have to get married. Okay, fine, I'll fucking get married. So they're with someone, they're having, they like them, let's get married.
Okay, fine. I'll agree with you a little bit here. But the whole thing is people telling you have to get married. Phil, in your case, you got married so that way you can claim a person as a fucking dependent. That's why, to make more money on your taxes. If you even pay them at all. But the whole thing about how, oh, if you do all this, why bother getting married? Why bother getting married? That's the thing, same thing I could ask you, Phil, but we already know the answer to this question. Still, let's just continue.
And then what happens? Within a couple years, oh shit, I made a horrible mistake. So now, you're playing video games, lusting over the fucking girls in the games and shit. Watching anime and watching movies, lusting over celebrities. That, oh, we want a polyamorous relationship. We're gonna sleep around. We start cheating on each other. No.
Okay, one, fuck off with that statement. Because how in the fuck is that the same? My girlfriend and I have waifus and husbandos. It's normal. It is normal to have crushes over fictional characters or celebrities. It is completely fucking normal. What isn't fucking normal is someone to force you into a polyamorous relationship, say that it's gonna work, and then later on leave you in the end. That shit doesn't work. That shit is toxic. And then for that same person to go around saying that you're the abusive one, that is toxic. But to go back to this point about how, oh, playing video games with girls and lusting over them, that is normal. As fucked up as it is to say it coming from everyone else, Phil, it is normal to have those intimacies, those fantasies. It is completely fucking normal. Hell, the reason why some marriages don't work is because they lost that spark. They lost that boing. They lost that urge. So that's why they try other things. They try role playing. They try find ways to spice up their love life. It happens. And yeah, granted, if it doesn't work out, they could divorce. Or in some ways of cheating, it could be that one of the partners is suffering from abuse. Not right, but it happens. Anyways, I'm going to continue. I'm not going to make this as long as I did the last video, so I'll keep that in mind. Luckily, this video isn't even that long anyway.
That's not what marriage is supposed to be, in my opinion. You can completely and utterly disagree, and that's okay, because that's your ability.
Yeah, it's your opinion. That's fine. But I'm not going to agree with it. I'm just going to ban you and call you a fucking idiot. Like you always do in your chats.
the cool thing about humans. We all have the ability to have different opinions, but that's my take on it. And so when I'm watching the Pro Jared documentary, and he said, "Oh, we decided to be polyamorous." No, you didn't. What you decided is that your marriage is broken, and rather than separate because you thought it was going to be too difficult, right, to separate, you decided to fake it and just sleep around, which is not the correct answer. It's just going to lead to more problems. You see?
Here's the thing with relationships, and they fake it. It happens. The reason why they fake it is because they don't want their fans to worry. I've seen a lot of like people that I've actually liked watching over the years, or I'm big fans of their work, and they say that they split. I'm with this person, we split on good terms, and they go on to say this that they've been split for this time, but they don't tell anybody until a month or so later because they don't want people to worry. That's why some people do it. In the case of Pro Jared, he only wanted to do it, and she wanted to do it. It's just because they wanted to try to fix things to get it to work. He didn't want it to work, and they divorced. And then she got mad that she was being divorced and went on tirades on Twitter. Like I said before, they're both equally in the wrong.
And indeed it did. If you watch the rest of the documentary, as you can see, as my react continues to unveil this week, you'll see how much worse and worse it got because they did this. Okay? So this person tipped $1.50 and said, "I don't like your criticism of waifus and people who like that stuff, because what about people who've never had real partners? They're too busy having and enjoying waifus. It's less stressful."
I mean, that tip is absolutely right. There are some people that can't even get a relationship. It's sad. I've been in that situation before until I actually gained the confidence to actually go out into the dating world. But then again, that was like nearly a decade ago. I know, putting my life out there, it's very damning.
That's not what I'm criticizing.
Yeah, it is what you're criticizing, Phil. You criticize people that have waifus, the people that play video games and they do the romance option in fucking video games. You basically call them cheaters. You call them unfaithful. I think it was like during the Judgment gameplay that you did, or Lost Judgment. It was one of the two Judgment games, where someone asked you, "Hey, why don't you do the side content? Why don't you do the Sayoko side quest?" And you said, "Why the hell would I lust over a fictional character? I'm married, stupid."
Now, by the way, I do wish that more people would be able to find meaningful relationships and have those relationships, because those are the best. The relationship I have with my wife right now is the best relationship I've ever had in my life.
You sure about that, Phil? You have more fun with Leanna than you do with your wife. Your wife doesn't want anything to do with you. Your wife doesn't want to help out on streams, doesn't want to play co-op games with you, doesn't want to do anything with you except for fucking errands and get DoorDash. That is not a meaningful relationship. And also, number two, you don't want your detractors to have meaningful relationships. Like me, take someone like me. You don't want me to have a relationship. You don't want me to have someone that's meaningful and worth having. No, you're just going to say that I'm mentally ill and that I need help. That's all that you do, Phil.
I'm happier today, right now, than I've ever been before in my life. 1,000,000%. Okay?
Yeah, but the dishwasher broke, cat's fault. The car broke, cat's fault. X, cat's fault. Y, cat's fault. You just find things to blame on your wife now. It's kind of sad. Oh, but that's meaningful and happy. Whatever you say, bitch.
Okay? So I wish everyone had what I have. I do.
No, I do not. I want to have a happy relationship. I actually want to talk with somebody. I want them to enjoy the things that I enjoy as well. to have husbandos and waifus, that we could talk about celebrity crushes and see who we, if we could, who we want to have sex with a celebrity. It's normal. I want to have that instead of what you have, Phil, which is loveless and toxic.
I feel like so many people are looking for what I have and don't have it. And I feel bad because I think more people deserve that level of happiness and they don't have it. They don't even understand it. A lot of people don't think it exists. There's people out there that say love doesn't exist. It's bullshit.
Well, in some cases, if people with clinical depression, they don't believe love exists. They believe that all they can feel is nothing. I was in that boat. I thought love didn't exist. But then again, I was in high school when I thought this. I got older. I grew out of it. Now I'm in love with someone that actually cares about me. And no, I don't want what you have, Phil. I never want what you have. Because I don't want to be a fucking panhandler on the internet trying to make a wife happy that doesn't want anything to do with me.
No, you just haven't had it. So you don't get it. When you have it, you know it. And then you know how much better your life is.
I've known what it's like to have it. I know what it's like to have it taken away. I know what it's like to go through a painful process. I know what it's like to suffer from depression from the one person leaving you. I know what it's like, Phil. Happiness comes at a cost. It comes with the cost of your time. It comes with the cost of your sanity and health. But it also has its good perks. You're not alone anymore. You don't have to deal with any of the pain that you were when you were single. The rejections, like I said, to come home to someone that's always there for you. Happiness is a double-edged sword. It can either hurt you in the end or it can help you in the future. One of the two.
And that's sad that people will just sit there and say it doesn't exist because they've never experienced it before. That's very, very sad in my opinion. But listen, there's a whole culture over in Japan of people who are such hard workers, all right, that they don't have time for a private relationship. They don't have time to get into a romantic, monogamous relationship with someone. So to them, the whole go to the cafe, the hostess club, or the host club, and do that and have the virtual relationship that's not real and pay them for that. That's that's how they get their meaningful social interactions. The waifu culture. Oh, this virtual girl or guy, because it isn't husbando and waifu, right? Those are my virtual companions or whatever, right? Listen, there's a whole culture around that. I'm not going to sit here to you and say, oh, I condemn it. Oh, it's awful. No, but what I'm going to tell you is I don't understand it because from my perspective, it doesn't make sense.
That's the thing, though, Phil. You say that you don't understand it, but you condemn it nonetheless. And what he said about people in Japan that didn't want to have a relationship, that they remain as hermits or they have their own things, fine. I can give you some credit with that. At least you kind of know about this. But virtual relationships, have you ever seen what a host club is, what a hostess club is? You just go there, you pay to have interactions with someone, but they're not real. It's a real person. You're chatting and talking with a real person. It sounds interesting in theory. It's to make them not want to kill themselves. But you also seem to understand that the people that have the waifu husbando culture, some of them are hermits. Like they don't want to go out and work. Like they don't want to go outside and interact with people, or they work from home. It's a thing. It happens. I might be wrong about it. People can comment and tell me if I'm wrong. But Phil, you always condemn people having virtual crushes or fucking fantasies about celebrities when you're in a relationship. You have condemned this multiple times. So don't bullshit us and say that you don't understand it.
You know, listen. I was single for a very long time in my life. I was, and yeah, when I was single, well,
Oh, here comes the sad story. I was single. We all were. Everyone was, Phil. What's your point?
I was miserable for a lot of that time. But I also knew that having a real meaningful relationship was more important than a virtual one. I never paid for a virtual nonsense. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But again, that's my head. That's everyone's different. That's the thing. Everyone has a right to an opinion. And for those who sit there and say that my opinion isn't valid, Well, what makes your opinion more valid than mine?
Okay, so I will tell you this, but I'm going to let you finish this little thought. Hang on.
You can agree with me and you can disagree with me, and that's fine. That's discourse. That's the cool thing about a show like this. That's the cool thing about us having interactions like this, is that we can have these different perspectives, and that's fine. I respect your opinion.
No, you don't. Now, to go on and say what makes my opinion a lot better than yours, it doesn't. That's the thing, though. Everyone's opinion is never going to be better than your opinion. Because at the end of the day, you'll listen to people's opinions, cast them aside, say that you're holier than thou, that your opinion is better than everyone else, being completely fucking pious or fucking condescending to them, and you never give a person a chance. And when you do give them a chance, there's no sincerity in the voice. But what makes my opinion better than yours is that you've never known what it's like to come home to nothing. When you were with someone for X amount of years and then you come home to nobody waiting for you. That is a painful existence, to the point where I almost became an alcoholic. Last relationship I was in, didn't even touch alcohol once. I didn't need it. And people will say, "Why didn't you? You should have drank like a 12 pack of beer." I had no desire to. Instead, I was happy to be free of someone who was toxic. Hell, that was the very same reason why I didn't make content for about a year and a half. As bullshit as it may seem to other people, that's one of the main reasons why. Now, if I don't make content, it's just because either A, I'm sick, or B, I'm trying to do something at my job. Like Filbert. I will give you that. Respecting opinions, fine. Phil, I can respect your opinion as well, but I can also criticize it. That's what makes the internet so worthwhile.
I respect your right if you like that culture, right? If you want to have your waifus, you want to have those virtual relationships, that's okay. Go for it. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit here and tell you otherwise, because I don't think I'm any better than you.
Yeah, but you said that you're better than everyone else, that you're happier in the relationship that everyone else wishes that they had, with someone who only loves you for DoorDash and doing errands and doesn't want to spend time with you. Like, hey, do you want to watch this movie? Eh. Do you want to play a game together? Eh. Do you want to do this? Eh. Do you want to do something together? Go fuck off, Phil. I'm playing Skyrim. I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy without you. How meaningful.
I'm happy with my life. I'm telling you how happy I am with my situation.
The tone doesn't sound happy.
You see? And I want you to understand why I think this would be a better situation for you. But if you don't get that and you don't agree, that's okay too. But then also, you got to respect my opinion too. You have to.
No, you don't. That's the one thing. You can respect someone's opinion, but you also can't. So it doesn't go both ways, Phil. Most of the time, it's a one-way street. In your case, it's always a one-way street. With multiple people that I've talked to about relationships, it's usually a two-way street. Because I'll give them an opinion, they can either agree with it or disagree with it, but they'll tell me why. When people tell you why they don't agree with your opinion, you put the earmuffs on and you fucking go, la 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 la, can't hear you, ban, 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 ban.
You have to respect my opinion because mine is as valid as yours.
Comparing people that like watching anime with fan service, a fucking video game that has girls in it, as cheating or the same as polyamorous relationship, that's not valid. That's just completely fucking moronic.
All right? So thank you for the tip. I hope that clears it up. No, when I was criticizing yesterday marriage and all of that, that's not what I was saying. And especially if you're not married and you're into that stuff, then more power to you, I guess, right?
So the people that aren't married, if they're in relationships, they can't do it either. Oh, fine, fine. You want to say that. If that's the hill you want to die on, nobody will be there to watch you die on that hill. Instead, they're going to be enjoying their waifus, their husbandos, or their relationships while you're with your fucking horse of a wife, bitching and complaining that how she broke the dishwasher again. What next? The washer and dryer is broken because of your wife, too?
It's a little different. The situation we were talking about was a committed married couple for several years then decide they're going to be polyamorous. Like, what? No, that will not work.
Also, another thing about the pro Jared thing that I forgot to mention is that he cheated on his wife with someone else's wife. Yeah, that I don't condone. He doesn't condone it either, which fine, I'll give that Phil that one. But the way that Phil went out of his way to attack pro Jared when he was going through a cancel culture by saying, "Oh, he insulted me 3 years these many years ago. I'm gonna do the same thing back to him." As a personal fuck you to pro Jared. That's why he did it. That's why he's involved, quote unquote, with the pro Jared controversy. That's his only contribution to it.
That will never work. Okay.
I got the drip going. 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 I got the drip going.
Sorry, I got lost in the banger there. But long story short, you can't enjoy anime, you can't enjoy video games that they have virtual chicks in it if you're married or in a relationship, because that's the same as polyamorous relationship. That is the most moronic thing I've ever fucking heard in my entire fucking life. And honestly, I kind of want to see Rich try to talk about this shit. I actually really do. Just to see what he would do with it. But, everyone, piece of advice. If you're watching anime that has fan service, if you play a video game that has big titted women in it, and you're in a relationship, keep doing it. You want to know why? Because at the end of the day, it's virtual reality. It is fiction. You can't go into that world and have sex with all these women in there. It's completely fine to have hobbies. It is completely fine to have fantasies of a celebrity. It is completely fine to have. And if you're in a good relationship, hold on to it. And don't go around bragging about your loveless marriage like it's a fucking achievement like Phil does here. That's the only piece of advice I can give. But yeah, Jesus. The I swear to God, there should be a book. Someone should take all of Phil's dumb quotes and make it into a book and sell it. Cause God,